In England, the latest season of Big Brother is an absolute success. The players are going through their everyday lives inside the house, which means they're doing pretty much nothing. At the TV studio, the crew is so busy getting ready for eviction night that they aren't watching the news. There's been a riot in London and several people are dead. Soon the city is quarantined and nobody is allowed to enter or leave the area. On the road outside the city, Reek is trying to call his girlfriend Kelly but she won't pick up. At that moment he notices a couple with a kid asking for a ride, so he stops his car. Back at the studio, a pre-show party is going on and many former players from the real show make a cameo. The news continues to talk about social unrest and some kind of infection, but nobody pays attention. Producer Patrick gets a call from two special guests who inform him they can't make it because all the roads are closed. Patrick just yells at them and tells them to come anyway. The guest's driver stops the car when he sees a crashed vehicle nearby. He takes a closer look and is shocked to discover the dead victim coming for him. Meanwhile, Patrick finally watches the news and learns of the riots in Newcastle and Liverpool, which include dead cops. He complains that tonight's show may get bumped for a news update. Employee Kelly is walking around the set to learn more about the production of the show. Her phone rings right as she's walking behind one of the house mirrors, so the players hear it. Patrick immediately yells at her, so Kelly declines Reek's call. Since her phone keeps ringing, Kelly takes the stairs to the roof to finally answer. Reek explains that the couple he found by the road stole his car and now he's waiting for the train to go home. Kelly tries to explain she's busy and can't chat, so Reek reveals he knows she's been cheating on him with coworkers because she's trying to get a higher position in the network. An argument ensues, but the call suddenly ends and the phones have no signal. The schedule sign at the train station isn't working either. Kelly goes back inside and learns nobody has a signal. She searches for some paperwork in an office and is approached by Danny, who is in the mood to get dirty. The news keeps showing terrible updates, like fires spreading all over the country, yet fans are still gathering outside the studio. Presenter Davina, who hosts the real show too, contacts the house and announces that Pippa was voted to leave tonight. On the road, the two guests are driving as fast as they can because the driver has been bitten and they're trying to get him help. Since they don't have GPS to find a hospital, they decide to take him to the studio since there's a doctor there. Minutes later, the driver dies as the car parks outside the studio, only for him to open his now white eyes. Since nobody is coming out of the car, a guard approaches it to investigate. He points his flashlight at the window and finds a horrifying face. When Danny leaves the studio to go to the store, he discovers one of the guests eating the guard. It turns out the zombie apocalypse has arrived. While Davina receives Pippa in the studio for an interview, the production team notices that the news channel has lost signal. Outside, the zombies from the car find the crowd of fans and start to attack, causing everyone to panic and start running. Several fans get bitten and soon there are more zombies in the area. A terrified Danny rushes into the control room, but the zombified guest tackles him and kills him. The team also panics and begins to run. Patrick takes the corridor and closes the door, leaving a coworker to be killed by a zombie. He enters the bathroom and pushes a person in a wheelchair to leave him as bait for a zombie while he hides in a stall. On her earpiece, Davina is confused to hear screaming. The players also hear the fans screaming and think they're just excited. Soon the fans are entering the studio looking for a safe place to hide, and more zombies follow. A creature jumps on Davina and she gets killed too. One by one, the production team and the former players are bitten and turned into zombies, while in the house the current players keep on partying. In an office at the back, Kelly is arguing with an employee whom Danny got dirty with in the past. At that moment zombie Danny shows up and jumps on his ex to quickly kill her. He then tries to go after Kelly, who runs to hide in another office and pushes a cabinet to block the door. While Danny keeps pounding on the door, Kelly tries the phone but it's dead. She turns on the TV and finds only one channel working, but she barely hears something about an attack before that channel dies too. After having a breakdown, Kelly falls asleep. The next morning, the players in the house still don't know what's happening around the country. Only Space notices a few things. There was no morning alarm, they don't get scolded for forgetting their mics, and the diary room won't open. After seeing that the cameras aren't following him as he moves, Space tells the others that something is wrong. In the bathroom, Patrick waits until the zombie is gone to come out. The bait has transformed as well but doesn't know how to use the wheelchair so he can't move, meaning Patrick leaves without issues. He takes the corridor and finds a zombified Davina, who immediately starts chasing him. Patrick runs to hide in the nearest room and finds Pippa, who has been keeping herself safe in there. Kelly wakes up in the office and looks out the window to notice bodies all over the place. The phones and the TV are still not working, so she has no choice but to leave. With a pair of scissors in hand, she opens the door and comes out to find Danny still feeding on his ex. He sees Kelly and tries to chase her, so Kelly hides in the office again only for Danny to stop the door from closing. After some struggle he manages to tackle Kelly, who starts stabbing him with the scissors. He doesn't die until she stabs his head. Afterward Kelly goes down the corridor and is immediately found by a zombie that starts chasing her. She rushes down the stairs and makes it outside, locking the door behind her to stop her pursuer. However, another zombie grabs her ankle, so she has to kill it with the scissors. Then Kelly has to take the keys from a body to hopefully steal a car, but at that moment a few zombies find her and start chasing her. She runs through a fence and locks it before getting back into the studio. This time Kelly enters the corridors connected to the house and sees the players arguing about what may be happening. Around the corner she finds a zombie feeding on a body who quickly comes after her. She takes the first door she sees and ends up in the diary room. After taking a moment to calm down, Kelly enters the house. The group starts celebrating, thinking a new player has arrived. Kelly tells them about the zombies but they don't believe her and think her bloodstains are makeup. A desperate Kelly yells at the group, who just mock her back. Marky touches the emergency exit to tease her and Kelly threatens to stab him. Thinking it's part of the show, Marky opens the door and a zombie immediately comes inside, tackling him to the ground. Half the group runs away while others try to help him, and the zombie bites Angel in the leg. Kelly grabs a fire extinguisher and smashes the zombie's head until he's dead. The players finally believe Kelly and want to leave, so she tells them they can't and takes them to the roof to show them how bad it is outside. At the train station, Reek wakes up and finally accepts that the train isn't working, so he leaves. While walking down the road, he finds a truck and hears a growl. A zombie immediately starts chasing him and Reek runs until he makes it downtown, where he hides inside a store. After Reek blocks the door with a fridge, Alex appears outside and shoots the zombie in the head. She tries shooting Reek too but he clarifies he's normal. Alex makes him grab supplies from the store and takes him away in her car. Unfortunately the car breaks down in the middle of the road, so Reek tries to fix it. Whenever a zombie tries to approach the vehicle, Alex shoots them down. Night falls and Reek still hasn't progressed. A zombie horde finds them and Alex can't shoot them all, so the duo starts running. Eventually they find a house and climb the fence to reach safety. Alex then slaps Reek for not fixing the car and explains she has no bullets left. They enter the house and are relieved to find it empty. In the office, Patrick and Pippa argue over every little thing. Patrick eats and drinks from the party table and keeps burping just to annoy Pippa. When he has to relieve himself, he pees in the trash can. After a nap, Patrick checks the corridor but the zombie is still there and he has to close the door. The scare upsets his stomach so he ends up pooping in the trash can too. In the house, Kelly cleans the zombie guts and gets rid of the body. After a few hours, Angel starts going into shock. Kelly wants to kill her before she transforms but the others refuse, so she convinces them to at least isolate her in the greenhouse. While tying Angel up, Grayson explains he's a nurse but he needs better supplies to help her. Kelly tells Space and Marky that there is a supermarket nearby that could have what they need. It's too risky to go out, but if they don't, they'll starve to death. They go to the roof and Space makes some noises that effectively get the zombies' attention, which gives them an idea. Joplin and Veronica are sent to the roof to make lots of noise by yelling and using pots. Once the zombies are distracted, the trio leaves through the back door. Space and Kelly make it to the car but Marky takes too long to close the gate and is seen by a zombie. The players on the roof warn him and Marky runs as fast as he can, managing to get in the car to finally escape. As he lands, a piece of metal hurts his arm. Moments later they reach the supermarket and Space stays in the car while the others go in. Kelly throws a can to make noise but no zombie comes out, so they start searching for supplies. Meanwhile Reek is shocked to discover that the Big Brother transmission is still on TV, but it's only one camera so he can't see anyone. Alex finds a French broadcast on the radio but the only word she understands is shelter. At the market, Space sees a police car passing by and yells to get its attention. Officers Bob and Den point their guns at him, but put them down when they confirm Space isn't a zombie and even recognize him from the show. Inside, Kelly and Marky have grabbed enough supplies and get ready to leave, but Marky accidentally drops something and the noise attracts two zombies. A chase ensues and the duo rushes to leave the building. When the cops see the zombies they open fire and one creature quickly goes down, but the other manages to attack Bob before Den shoots it in the head. Noticing that Bob has been bitten, Den doesn't hesitate to kill him too. Den notices Marky's arm wound and thinks he was bitten, so he gets ready to shoot him. However, Kelly picks up Bob's gun and shoots Den in the leg. A zombie then appears behind them, so the trio grabs Den's gun too and runs to get in the car to escape while the zombie kills Den. Back in the house, Veronica is taking a shower, so Joplin sneaks into the production corridor and spies on her. However, Veronica can guess what he's doing and calls him out, so he walks away. In the greenhouse, Angel is desperate to move so Grayson takes pity on her and unties her. After a few minutes, she dies. Grayson gets the scissors ready to stab her but at that moment she wakes up as a zombie. Seconds later, Veronica sees Grayson stumble out of the greenhouse with a bleeding throat and tries to help him, but zombie Angel comes out too and tackles her. Joplin watches all this from inside the house and closes the door. After some struggle, Grayson manages to push Angel into the pool. As a zombie, Angel can't swim and therefore can't get out, so Joplin thinks it's safe enough for him to join Veronica. Soon Grayson dies and becomes a zombie too, so Veronica and Joplin run back inside and close the door. Veronica wants to kill the zombies or the others won't be able to enter the house. Joplin says he can't fight so Veronica slaps him. Then Joplin bangs on the glass to distract Grayson, allowing Veronica to open the door and call him. When Grayson rushes in, Joplin throws a blanket on top of him and Veronica repeatedly stabs his head with a knife. At the parking lot, the car gets in and Kelly rushes to close the gate before the zombies can follow them. There's already a zombie inside, so Space hits him with the car and Kelly jumps back in. When they go inside they find Angel in the pool, so Kelly shoots her in the head. The group then crosses the living room and appears on camera, so Reek is excited to see that Kelly is still alive. Alex checks the gate and finds a huge horde blocking it. Reek insists he wants to reunite with Kelly and won't listen to Alex when she explains how risky it is. While looking around the backyard, Reek discovers that the house has access to the river and there's a boat. That river runs around the TV studio, so Reek will use the boat to get to Kelly. At first Alex complains that this is a crazy idea, but eventually she decides to come along. As they travel down the river, they find the way blocked by a sluice gate, so Alex leaves the boat and moves ahead to open it. At that moment a zombie jumps on her from behind and Alex tries her best to fight it. After knocking it down, she starts hitting it with an axe until it's dead. Reek comes looking for her and discovers that Alex was bitten. She gives Reek the axe and after a final goodbye, Reek kills her. He continues his journey alone and when the engine runs out of gas, he has to row. Later Marky goes to the roof and shoots at any zombie that approaches the house. In the office, Patrick is tired of waiting and searches for things he can use as a weapon. He gets the metal pole from the lamp and makes Pippa open the door. When zombie Davina tries to get in, Pippa closes the door to trap her and Patrick starts stabbing her with the pole until she's dead. The duo finally leaves the office and ignores the zombie feeding around the corner to move ahead. They make it to the control room and see the survivors having dinner. Patrick uses the loudspeaker to ask the group to rescue them, but they refuse because it's too risky. A furious Patrick abuses the control panel to spam sound effects and roll down the shutters, so the group has no choice but to agree to help. Space and Kelly head out and when a zombie approaches them, Marky shoots it from the roof. Inside the studio another creature jumps on Space, but Kelly quickly shoots it down. They find Patrick and Pippa in the next corridor and immediately leave the building together. At the parking lot gate, they're horrified to discover that the horde has greatly grown in numbers, but they still get to the house safely. Patrick acts like a twat and thinks he still has the right to be in charge, so everyone is annoyed by his presence. Desperate to escape, Patrick thinks they should chop up Angel's and Grayson's bodies and throw the meat pieces at the zombies to distract them. Then they could cross the gates. Most of the group is horrified by the idea, so Patrick starts doing the chopping alone while the girls have a breakdown. Meanwhile Reek finally reaches the shore and a zombie starts chasing him as soon as he steps on land. He starts running around the woods, encountering more zombies that also join the chase. At the back of the forest, he finds a fence and jumps over it to escape while the zombies get stuck. After lots of walking, Reek finds a road that takes him to the studio, sneaking around to find an entrance. Marky sees him from the roof and thinks it's a zombie, so he opens fire. Reek runs to hide while yelling he's a normal person, but Marky doesn't stop shooting until Kelly makes him. She runs to open the back door and Reek gets inside. Now the couple reunites with a kiss. Kelly thinks he came to save her, so Reek explains that the zombies have taken over the world and there's nowhere to go. When Reek explains the same thing to the others, it's still not enough to change Patrick's mind and he announces that he's taking the boat. Nobody wants to come along, so a long argument ensues. In the end Patrick decides to leave alone. Afraid that the zombies may get in if he opens the door, Kelly fires a warning shot. Patrick is still determined to get out, so Space grabs him and Reek knocks him out with the axe. After they tie Patrick up in the bathroom, the group discusses what to do to him since they can't trust him. Veronica thinks they have to kill him before he causes trouble, saying it's self-defense. Joplin goes to relieve himself and takes pity on Patrick, so he removes the gag. Patrick tells him that the others are going to kill him and Joplin will become the next bottom of the pile, sharing all the horrible things the group has said about Joplin in the diary room. Even the fans have made signs calling him Gollum. Joplin thinks Patrick is lying and leaves the bathroom, only to overhear Veronica making Gollum jokes about him, so he returns to the bathroom. The group isn't a fan of Veronica's murder idea and Kelly proposes to incapacitate Patrick instead. They're interrupted by Joplin and Patrick, who have stolen the guns. Patrick grabs Kelly hostage while Joplin gets the chopped meat and the car keys. They leave through the back door and the others follow them. When Joplin reaches the car, he puts down the meat bowl and accidentally slips on it. Reek uses the distraction to attack, only to be shot by Patrick. Kelly covers the wound with her hands but Reek dies anyway. Joplin gets in the car and drives toward the gate, forcing Patrick to pick up the meat and run after him. A furious Kelly picks up the fallen gun and opens fire at Patrick, but she's too unstable to shoot accurately and runs out of bullets. At that moment Joplin opens the gate and the horde bursts in, quickly killing him. The survivors run back to the house and close the door without waiting for Patrick. He tries to throw the meat at the creatures, but they easily overpower him and kill him too. Now the horde is pounding on the doors and they may break them soon. Space notices that Pippa is missing and goes looking for her, only to end up in the control room. When he talks to the others on the microphone, Kelly asks him to bring down the shutters. He presses the right button and the shutters effectively protect the doors. Unfortunately the zombies have found the studio corridor and are now gathering at the windows and mirrors of the house. Space warns his friends, so Kelly asks him to open the diary room. Unfortunately, before Space can find the right button, the zombies appear nearby. He struggles with a few monsters to push them off and runs to hold the doors closed. At that moment, the other half of the horde breaks the windows and enters the house, quickly killing Marky and Veronica. While Kelly defends herself with the axe, Space realizes he's been bitten, so he runs back to the control room and finally opens the door to the diary room, allowing Kelly to hide in there. Afterward, Space notices he's surrounded and one of the zombies is Pippa. Kelly tells him that since the others are dead, he's the winner of this season of Big Brother. She wants him to open the next door so she can leave, and Space refuses because of the horde waiting on the other side. However, Kelly points out she can't stay there forever and promises to fight her way through. Space opens the door and Kelly rushes out with a scream. The next morning, every single person in the group has become a zombie, including Kelly. Her blank zombie stare is broadcast on the Big Brother channel all over the country. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.